Hey guys, Bernard Braxton here. I just came here to talk to you today about a couple things. I wanted to talk to you mainly about eliminating debt and growing your savings. So, one of the basic things you guys need to know about investing for your future and most importantly, financial independence, retire early, is eliminating debt and saving for your future. Those two are essentially separate assets, but when put together, can catapult you to have a better future. So we'll talk about eliminating debt first. Growing up, I never really had debt. I was the type of person to always save money, pay for everything with cash. I never knew what a credit card was. I never wanted one. All I knew about a credit card was they're essentially making money off of people. Essentially, with credit cards, the thing about it is I've always heard that people always go into debt and it becomes impossible to come out of debt. And that was always the negative stigma with credit cards, always. So I've always steered clear of credit cards. Essentially, I didn't not get into credit cards until I was in my 20s, mid 20s. And the thing about that is I didn't want to touch credit cards. When I realized what credit cards could be used for, which was improving, your credit history and your credit overall, that's when I said to myself, hey, I want to get a credit card. But, at that age, I didn't have any debt. I had my car paid off in full cash. The only debt I had was a cell phone bill, and I had to pay my car insurance. Other than that, I didn't really have any responsibilities. So at that time, I said, hey, I'm going to get a credit card because, growing my credit, that's something I'm intrigued about. I see everybody always saying, hey, boasting and saying, oh, my credit score is above 800, Oh, well, I've always wondered what my credit score was. So essentially, I went to the bank and I said, hey, I want a credit card. But I did not know what that would entail. So I went to go get a credit card. I applied. I did an online credit card application, and I went to the bank as well at the same time and did it and, try to get a credit card that way. So I found out that if you have no credit history, you won't be approved for a credit card. So I had 2 credit pulls on my credit history trying to get a credit card, and they said, hey, yeah, you can't qualify for a credit card. You don't have any credit history. So I said to myself, how is that possible? I've had student loans. Aren't those recorded on my credit history? Obviously, it didn't help. When I had my student loans, I said, man, I don't want student loans. They're just making money off of me, So what I did was I saved up and I paid the student loans off in one foul swoop, about 20 something $1,000. It hurt. It hurt throwing all that money to student loans, but I paid it off. It made me feel so much better about myself now that I didn't have any real debt anymore. So back to the credit card fiasco. Tried to go get a credit card, applied to Capital One. They denied me through email. I applied to my local credit union. They denied me too. And I'm thinking, what? It's a credit union. How can a credit union deny me? I've been with them for, 7 years. They can't deny me. I'm one of their best customers. Lady sat me down at the round table. She said, hey, yeah, you don't have any credit history. So what we're going to try and do for you is we're going to have you open up a secured line of credit. So I said, okay, well, sure, I'll do that if it allows me to get a credit card and build my credit. Sure, whatever. So I thought that was the solution. So what she explained to me was put down X amount of money, any amount that you want. You put that down as a down payment. It goes towards your credit line. And essentially what you are doing is you are loaning yourself the money as a line of credit to use to build your credit. So I said, what? What? I have to use my money to build my own credit? That's crazy. Everybody else can get a credit card. Why can't I? There's nothing I could do about that. I just had to, follow the game. And that's what essentially credit card companies and credit scores and the banking system is. It's all a game. And when you understand how to play the game, you come out on top. So I didn't have any debt. I wanted a credit card. I wanted to build my credit score up. They pulled my credit. I didn't have any credit score whatsoever. So I ended up putting down $300 for a line of credit. Okay, and that $300 was essentially a down payment in order to start building my credit history. So from then on, I started buying things with my credit card, trying to establish my own credit. For a year, I would buy things and I would pay it off. So essentially, the way you want to use a credit card is you spend about 10% of your total line of credit. And at the end of the month, you receive a bill. Anything over 10% essentially will hurt your credit score, but it won't kill it. So 10% is a nice buffer to show that, hey, I don't need the money, but I will use it if I need to. So showing that you're using about 10%, shows them that you're responsible. So I spent about $30 a month, gas. That's about it. And the rest went to my debit card. Anything else like food, necessities, toothbrush, socks, went to the debit card. Gas went on my credit card. So I did that for a year and I was able to sign up with Credit Karma. Creditkarma.com, it's an excellent website. What they allow you to do is they allow you to get a brief summary of what your credit score looks like. It by using Vantage 1.0 when I was 2.0, and they use that to guesstimate where your credit score is. And they do a pretty good job, give or take minus 100 plus 100 of actually where it's at. But even though that's a wild swing, it's close enough and it's free. Why not? So I used Credit Karma and they told me my credit score at the end of that year, after using a credit card for almost a year, was around 668. I was very proud of myself. I said, damn, 668. That's amazing. I'm only 132 points away from 800. It's not going to take me long to get to 800. This should be a breeze. But little did I know, building your credit is difficult. They take into the aspect of the percentage of your credit line that you use, whether you have derogatory remarks, which means 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late, 180 days late. All of that stuff stays on your credit for 7 years. And for 7 years, that holds you back. So my advice is don't get any late payment remarks on your credit history. Always strive to pay it off as soon as you get the bill. Okay? So the things that matter, your credit utilization. I use 10% or less. I've always used actually 1%, but I tell everybody else to use 10% because they aren't as responsible. So credit utilization, derogatory remarks, the amount of credit lines you have open, student loans, car loans, mortgages, credit cards, anything with you borrowing money essentially is a line of credit. Okay. And also another thing that matters is the amount of time you've had that line of credit open. When a lender sees that you've had a line of credit open, such as a credit card or a mortgage open for 20 years, it shows responsibility. It shows you pay your loans back. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for a responsible person that can show that they can pay their money back and that they can rely on. That's what makes your loan an asset. Because these loan people, all they do is sell your loans to different companies to make a profit off of you. That's all they're looking for. So essentially, those four things will help your credit exponentially explode. So, after my first credit card, after a year, my credit was moving slow. I didn't like it. So I went online. I found out, hey, if you open up more lines of credit and different credit cards, you'll be able to grow your credit score. So what I did was I took out 2 more lines of credit from my credit union, and I was able to apply and not have to put down any down payment for a credit card. So essentially, I received a credit card for $3,000, and I also applied for another credit card for around $18,000, I believe. And I actually was approved for both. Surprise, surprise. I was approved for both. I received a $3,000 credit line, and I received an $18,000 credit line. Over the years, showing responsibility, using those lines of credit, only using 1% on each card, what they did for me was they increased my line of credit without my knowledge and without me having to say anything. They just increased it. What that is it's a tactic to get you to use more money and to use more credit. Okay? That's all that is. When your credit utilization increases, when they allow you to spend more money, they doubled my $3,000 to $6,000. It shows that, hey, instead of using $300, we're allowing you to use $600 now. It's still 10%. So yeah, go ahead, start spending more. And it didn't hurt my credit score at all. At all. But it's very dangerous. If you're not responsible, you could end up using way more money than you have in your checking account. So the way you spend money on a credit card is you spend only what you need. Not because you have the money there and it's accessible and you have $6,000 to spend. Spend what you need. Keep that credit score utilization down. Okay, spend what you need. At the end of the month, you pay everything off. Take that balance back to zero. Okay? So over the years, 2-3 years, they kept doubling my credit line. So I went from $3,000 to $6,000, from $6,000 to $12,000. And the $18,000, it went up to about 25 grand. 25 grand at 20 something years old. I said to myself, oh my gosh, 20 grand? I don't even have that saved up in my savings account. Oh, wow. They trust me with 25 grand. The only thing is the security line never changed. Never changed. Stayed at $300. And to this day, I still have that $300 credit line. I'm not closing it because you know why? The longer you keep that line of credit open, it shows responsibility. As soon as you close it, it hurts you. So I'll have that about a couple more years before I close it. My plan is to buy real estate. I'll need a couple loans. I plan on maybe doing commercial, residential. I have a couple plans in the book for some things that I do want to start. But back on topic. So I got a credit card. I started building my credit score up. But I never hurt myself with any burden of debt. Never took out any loans, didn't want any car loans. I've always kept my debt to a limit, almost zero. Having zero debt, like Dave Ramsey says, is the best kind of debt. So essentially over time, no debt, and I saved and saved and saved and saved till here I am today. I have a nice little savings amount in my savings account. It's not a lot, you know, it's not a lot. You know, it's enough to buy a car, unfortunately. So, you know, going forward, eliminate all debt and save as much as possible. So what I do with that savings is I put it in a high yield savings account. I have a aspiration account. I have a synchrony account. I have an ally bank account. I have a Varo account, VARO. And essentially the Varo account is the highest, has the highest yield, about 2.02%. You have to keep no more than $50,000 in there, but you have to have you have to be able to have these 5 things happen within that month. You know, you have to use your account to buy something 5 times. You have to have, you know, money coming in, you know, so in order to qualify for that account. But Synchrony is my top account. I have money, you know, I keep money divided up between accounts, you know, it just for that diversification aspect. That's totally it. If one account goes down, something happens, I always have money in another account. It's always good to keep cash, even though that cash does not afford you any interest. That's fine, because the interest that you're making is minimal. You know, it's not a lot, but it is something. But I do keep cash on me as well. So the point I'm making is keep your debts low, because debt will rob you of potential money. Potential money is always a good thing. Being able to have that money to go and invest it into the stock market is what you want. You know, you want to be able to deposit and then make a money transaction when you need it at the correct time. You know, because the correct time could be tomorrow. You never know when you'll need it. You know, you see an opportunity, an investment property opens up for the right amount. You want to jump at it, but you can't jump at it if you have debt. You can essentially, but you know, the least amount of debt is the best, because you're able to command your money. Okay. When you go to apply for a loan, they look at all that. They look at income to debt ratio. If you're not taking in more income than you have money going out towards debts, it's not a good look. They don't want to lend you any money. You know, it becomes harder. Your credit score is a plus. The amount of money you have in your bank account is a plus. The amount of money you make every 2 weeks or every week is a plus. They want to look for those things, because that means that you're responsible. Okay. So that's just a little tidbit. Those 2 things you have to really stay on top of. My next video, I'll try and get into different forms of income, you know, so look out. Please subscribe, hit the like button, share with your friends. This will be an ongoing series of videos. I just want to thank you for stopping by. And once again, this is Bernard Braxton. I'm signing out.